with this storm arriving tonight, maybe you've made the rounds to the store, stocking up on things like bread and milk, maybe eggs if you can find them. Our weather warrior making its way across the state, giving us a real-time look at the conditions. This is our wheel cam, so you can really see how messy it is. This is on Route 12 in the Leominster-Fitchburg area. The roads are definitely covered with snow. Let's check in now with our meteorologists. We're going to start with Chief Meteorologist Pete Bouchard. All right, a lot to break down with the storm tonight, but I mean, those roads are covered there.
They are, yeah. It went downhill fast.
Yep.
Dom's okay, as it, we check on wellness check on him in a second. Yeah. Anyway, snowfall amounts in Boston have been so far decent, but still way below normal, almost by a foot. We're going to make up that deficit in a lot of cities here across the Northeast and New England in general. Boston may not actually come back to normal. We're not going to make 11 inches out of this, we're not thinking, but maybe about 5. You can see snow is heavy at times on the North Shore, now the South Shore, Metro West too. There are little lulls. I don't want to really call them that. They're just a little bit of a let up in the intensity. But we expect that gap to fill in and also more fill in here through the course of the night as we go through the worst part of the storm in the next few hours. This goes until about 4 or 5 o'clock at these rates of nearly an inch per hour. Right now, visibility is down to about a quarter mile in some spots, especially up towards Nashua. You can see some of that dry air starting to work in here to at least break up some of that intensity of the snow. But we're also generating a lot of lift. You'll see that in the radar. Look at these little like striations that come here, these arcs that are lifting up through Springfield. That's the generation, the lifting of the atmosphere physically that's going on to create those bands of heavy snow. So another way to look at the timeline, we can put blobs all over a map, or you could just go like this and look how it drops off through the course of tomorrow morning. By 10 o'clock, it's 60% chance, 40% chance at noon, and then not much of anything left over in the afternoon between 2, 4, and 6, maybe a couple of flurries, and also the possibility of maybe seeing a couple of sunny breaks at times. Sydney's here to talk about those snowfall accumulations.
Oh, yeah. As this keeps coming down, we're going to see likely 5 to 8 from Boston to Framingham to Worcester, 8+. So over 8 inches are possible in spots like Leominster, parts of the Merrimack Valley, Manchester, Pepperell, Leominster included in that 8+ zone. So at least getting close to 8 inches, if not just above that. Nearing 9 inches in spots will be possible for spots like Haverhill and Portsmouth. 5 to 8 Framingham to Worcester, Spencer included in that. Same with Franklin, Norwood, Boston, and the North Shore included in that 5 to 8. Most of the South Shore as well. Likely totals along the South Shore will be closer to that 5 than that 8. Spots in Worcester County have the best chance to get towards that 8-inch mark. But even where those heavy bands line up and where they just continue to drop that snow, that's going to be where those spots do end up seeing 8 inches. And it does also depend on how cold your temperatures are. 3 to 5 inches possible for the Cape and also for the islands, seeing that 3 to 5 inch zone. Now, the reason the temperatures matter is because when temperatures are in the low 20s, they're going to be bringing much fluffier snow. It's going to accumulate quicker. It's not going to compact on the ground quite as hard. So where you're seeing 25 degrees in Leominster, Keene, Manchester, that's going to be fluffier snow. Going through the overnight hours, we're going to have temperatures closer to 30 degrees along the South Shore and near Boston. That's going to be more pasty snow. It will compact down a little bit more, and it's not going to lead to quite as high of accumulations. Those snow piles won't get quite as high the warmer that these temperatures are. Pete?
All right, Sydney, tomorrow, speaking of warmth, we don't really move the needle all that much, going into the 20s and around 30 degrees through the course of the day. These are Boston, greater Boston. You can see that drop off and that precip afternoon time. We're just cloudy, but we do anticipate maybe a couple of breaks in the overcast. These are the temperatures Sydney was talking about in the 20s now, and around 30 or so down through New Bedford and also onto the islands, where we do expect a little bit of a changeover to some sleet. All right, so let's get beyond the storm, look at Monday's forecast. And Sunday, you have it at 33, 30 on Monday, and then 32 on Tuesday. There's some possibility of some flurries here, but then the big storm will wait until Thursday of next week. So this one's done. Tuesday, the flurries really with another storm system that goes by to our south. We'll miss that almost entirely. But then Thursday, it looks like a transition between snow over to sleet and then eventually rain as that storm tracks to our north and west. You'll see that in the 10-day forecast. Valentine's Day, nice and quiet, but there's another storm brewing perhaps next weekend. So no rest for the weary. Monica.
All right, guys, thanks so much. And with all the snow that's been forecasted, now's a great time to download the NBC 10 Boston app. It's free, can come in handy if you're not by a TV or you lose power. It'll alert you when snow is coming in your area. All you need to do is scan the QR code on your screen.